Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial which will basically help you run a Concordium node for Testnet 3 and help you become a Concordium Baker too. So as you all know, the Testnet 3 release is right around the corner. The incentivization program is going to start on October 15th. So Concordium basically has provided an iOS Concordium ID app as well as an Android app which you can download on your phone to verify your identity. Please use this app only and not any other web application or anything like that. So these are some of the cool features that are being implemented in Testnet 3. And also if you face any issues, you can always mail it to testnet@concordium.com. You can also join in our Discord server and Telegram channel as well if you have any questions. So you just need to follow the steps to successfully launch a node, and even if you're not a programming expert or a node specialist, you can just follow this tutorial and you'll be able to successfully launch a node. Also feel free to share this with all your friends and also invite them to join our communities on Telegram and Discord. So before we start off, let's try to understand the system requirements to run a node. Basically we need for Linux, Windows and Mac. For Linux we need close to 30 GB of free disk space and 4 GB of RAM. We'll be running it on a 64-bit system. For Windows we need 30 GB of free space and 8 GB of RAM. For Mac we need again 30 GB of disk space and 8 GB of RAM. So I would be going here with Linux because it needs a minimum system requirement of 64-bit system and 30 GB of free disk space along with 4 gigs of RAM. So yeah, and also if you don't have a powerful machine, please don't worry. You can just go ahead and rent a VPS where you can run a node and have a good uptime. And also you can go with popular VPS options like Amazon, Google, DigitalOcean and Microsoft Azure. However, for this tutorial I'm going to be using Vultr since it's one of the few service providers who support crypto as a form of payment, and I just like supporting businesses which support crypto. So also if you're interested in going with Vultr, you can use the referral link in the video description where you can get some free server credits, I think around $100. So yes, and also full disclosure, I'm no way associated with Vultr or the subsidiaries. I just like the service, so I'm just recommending them. I've used them in the past and have had no issues as well. So yes, let's sign up and log in. So I'm just logging into my account. You can just sign up as well. So this is the dashboard that you'll see for the server, and so what you need to do is you need to click on this plus mark, or you can click on deploy instance. Let's just click on deploy instance, and here you need to choose a server type. For this we can just go with cloud compute, and also the locations, choose the closest city in which you are located. So I just probably go with Singapore. And the server type, you can choose it needs to be a 64-bit OS, and you can go with Ubuntu. And also the server size, you need to go with a minimum of 4 GB of RAM. So I'm going with this. This basically gives me an 80 GB of SSD and also 4 GB of RAM. So this is perfect for to run our nodes. It will cost around close to $20 a month, which is not really too much. Also, if you want to remotely access your VPS, you can set up SSH keys. I'm not going to suggest this method because I want to keep it simple. So all you need to do is just come and log in on vultr.com, and you'll be able to access your VPS. And also you need to select a server host name and label. So let's just go with this. I'll just go with Concordium Testnet 3, and that's it. Click on deploy now. So it just gets deployed. It's currently installing, so just wait for a bit for it to install. Once it's installed, I will let you know what the next steps are. Alright, so we finished installing. So what we need to do is we need to click on view console, and view console takes us to this window here. Basically, by default, there is no GUI component for Ubuntu. Ubuntu server does not support a graphical user interface by default. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to add a desktop environment after installing the Ubuntu server. GUI takes up a considerable amount of system resources. That's memory and processor. So, but then it also has the added advantage of making it user friendly. So yes, let's get started. So first, let's start by updating the repositories and package lists. So for that, we need to type this command. So it's asking us for our login details. So to understand the login details, we need to check the login details here. So we have our login details here. So your username is root, and your password is basically shown here when you click on show password. So I'm just going to enter my username as root, and then I'm going to enter the password as well. Alright, so once I entered the details, I have finally logged in here. So now let's continue. So next, what we need to do is we need to install this task and manager. Basically, it's a utility, so we just need to type this. Basically, this ensures you're working with the most recent software updates. And so next, it's basically now time to install a desktop environment. So we need to install a desktop environment. Mainly, by default, only one display manager can manage a server, and they can run simultaneously if you configure to manage different servers. All right, so we basically install Slim. To install Slim, we need to enter this command. Sudo So just wait for it to completely install and then click on yes, that is Y. When it asks you if you want to continue, and then just wait for it to install. It's going to take some time to install, just hang on. Alright, so now that this is done, we need to install GNOME. So we can do that using this. Alright, so now we have come to this colorful interface. So we need to go and choose Ubuntu desktop, which is here. So you need to use the keyboard. Just come down there to Ubuntu desktop, and then you need to click on spacebar to select it, and then you need to click on enter. Click on enter. Okay, sorry, you just need to click on tab to select it. Now just wait for it to install. Now basically the system is going to install the software and reboot, giving you a graphical login screen generated by default display manager. In our case, since we chose Slim, it's going to be Slim, and we need to just enter the login credentials, and that's it. So this is going to take some time, so let's just wait for it to install the whole thing. Alright, so we have almost come to the end of this installation. Shouldn't take too long, it should soon finish. I think it took me quite some time to install completely, so you can just pause the video while you're installing it, and once it's done you can just follow up again. So after this we'll be installing KDE Plasma. I'll tell you the command as well for that. So yes, you can notice that it's completed 100%, and finally now we can go with installation of the KDE Plasma. Asks you whether to continue, yes or no. You just click on Y and continue. Just wait a bit so that all the installation takes place properly. Okay, so it's asking us if Slim is okay, so we'll go with default manager Slim. Again, use the spacebar to select, and then tab for enter. always use spacebar to select and tab to go to the next line. Let's just wait for this to finish installation, and once that's done, we're almost good to go. Once this is done, we just need to select the display manager we installed, which is nothing but Slim. If you remember from the 3 options, we chose Slim, so that we can launch the KDE Plasma with the command. And this shouldn't take too long. Right, so now we are going to launch the KDE Plasma. We can use this command. And that's it. So right now we just need to enter the username, which is nothing but root, and now for this we need to enter the password. So you'll find this password in your VPS dashboard. So you have the username root, and then you have the password here. So I've entered it now, and let's click enter. So yes, we just installed the GUI, and we can just select whichever language we want to go. I'll go with English. And then location services is not necessary, you can turn it off. And then if you want, you can connect an account. I'll just skip this for now. And that's it. Here we are, good to use Ubuntu. So now you have your own Linux server, VPS installed. You can just start using it as you wish. So now let's just get started with the terminal. So to get started with the terminal, all you need to do is click on this and then type terminal here. So this gets us a good terminal. And now what we need to do is we need to install Docker. So we can install Docker. So let's start. So let's add a new user first. So we can do that by using add user, like something like, okay. So now it's asking me for a password. So let's just set a random password that we can remember. Okay, I can't use bad password, it needs to be a good strong one. So let's use okay, we need to enter a bunch of names like this. So let's just obviously enter your real names there. You can just enter some random values here, work phone number, Okay, is this information correct? Yes. It's better you enter your real information there. So now we have successfully added a user. So what we can do now is begin with the process. So it's just installing. Okay, now that it's done. So to make it fast and easy, for your convenience, I would suggest you copy paste the commands into Pastebin on your browser. Open the Mozilla Firefox browser there, and then go to pastebin.com and then just paste the commands there, and then create Pastebin. So you get like this random link, so you can just access, just go to pastebin.com/this random link that was generated for you, and then you can just copy paste all the commands here. I would suggest doing that because it is just more faster and easier to just copy paste the commands rather than type everything sometimes. So I'm pasting this. Right, so we can just be very careful with copying, because leaving out small spaces could create a major issue too. So yes. Okay, if we are still in the root mode, we need to change to user. We can just use Ctrl D to shift. So now we just need to make sure that we switch to user. Yeah, so now we switch to user. You can notice that it's changed to green here, showing banks. And once that's done, I need to run the whole process once again. Let me just quickly do that. Let's just run Docker. Okay, so once we run this Docker hello run hello world, it says unable to find the image. Initially, and then it says hello from Docker. So this basically this message basically shows that it's working correctly. Hello from Docker. Okay, now let's get started. That's only to view. Right now you can notice it's asking me for the password. Alright, so if you have a firewall enabled, we need to open all these ports. So let's quickly open all these ports so that we don't have any issues. So now we have opened up all the ports. So now it's required that the node keeps running even if we exit. So there are many ways of doing this. So now what we need to do is we need to install Tmux. So this is a terminal multiplexer, is basically an alternative to GNU screen. Basically, you can start a Tmux session and then open multiple windows inside of that session. And each window occupies the entire screen, and it can be split into rectangular panes. So we can easily switch between multiple programs in one terminal and things like that. We can detach them, reattach them to a different terminal. So it's a very useful and cool tool. So yes, so let's get started with that. Now we'll be opening a new session called Concordium Node. So here we go. So here what we need to do is change this to your VPS IP address. You can basically find that on your dashboard, right? So let me just do that. Right. So now I come to this window. You can see this Concordium here. Checking okay, whether Docker is accessible to your path. Okay, checking whether Docker is running. Okay, checking whether we can access Docker. Okay. Now, what would you like your node name to be? Okay, I give this. It says okay. Now it's just downloading, and we just need to wait for the setup to finish. So this is basically loading the image into the Docker. Right, while this is happening, we can actually go and check if our node has appeared on the testnet dashboard. So this basically shows up the whole dashboard. Now we need to search for our username. What we can do is Control F. Yes, here it is. So we have our node up and running. But then it says NA for bakers. Right, so now we have the node up and running, so we can attach or detach from the session, obviously. Now we can access our node dashboard at my VPS. Okay, let's access my node VPS. Oops, I made a mistake. So it's the IP address of your VPS followed by 8099. Oh, okay, so I need to stop my node before I go to the dashboard. So now let's come back here and let's do Control B, Control plus B, and then D. Right, so now we're back here. So now we return to the Concordium session again. What we can do is, if you want to go back and attach to the session, we just need to do So we're back here. We can again detach by using Control B at the same time, and then followed by a D. Alright, so now we detached once again. Alright, so now let's see if we can access our dashboard. Okay, so here we are. Your node is currently catching up with the network, so that's what it says. So we can see the name of the node, the ID of the node, the version it's running on, and also the uptime sent and received, also if it's baking or not. So I'm currently not baking, so let's try to understand how to bake. So we need to import a new account. This new account can be imported by using the mobile app, which I'm going to show you next. Alright, so I set up my Concordium account. Currently I don't enable my biometrics. You can enable it. Now I go and create a new identity. Now here I choose Notabene development. If you're going with your real KYC, you can go with Notabene. Right, so here you give your first name. And click on continue. Now identity is submitted, and it generally takes some time to verify it. Now the identity is completed. So you can see a test identity has been completed here. So now I have my account. Right, so you can see that I have two different accounts. It's currently creating the account. Right, so here when I go, I can request for 100 GTU. I will be getting a test of 100 GTU. Alright, so now what I need to do is I need to export this. I need to click on export, and I can export my identity, which I need to import on the Node dashboard. Right, so now I import my account from my phone. So what I can do is I can probably mail it to myself and open my Gmail account here, download the file, and then import it here. So currently I've downloaded it from my mail. So I'm going to open this and to enter password, which is basically right. So you can see that this has been selected. Now I can start baking here. Need to enter my password. And I need to start baking. Right, so you can see that Baker has been added, and it's going to become active in a bit. You can see here that it says NA for baking. So it's going to update there once this thing goes away. So that's it. It's pretty simple. So this tutorial has basically covered how to run a node and how to start baking. Thank you.